All right, here we go. Today we're going to learn how to build your own AR-50, which is better known as a rosary. AR stands for Assault Rosary, if you were unclear about that. So what we're going to need to get started is, this is 550 cord, paracord, what some people call it, 550 cord. I was in the Marine Corps, that's what we always called it. You're going to need about 10 feet of this, and if you notice, I've already got the ends prepared, which is simply just accomplished by melting and then twisting it to get a nice fine point. You're going to need that in order to feed it through the beads. Obviously, you're going to need crucifix. This is called the papal cross. This is one of my favorite ones. It's absolutely beautiful. But this is a papal cross. You're going to need a jump ring. This is my preferred jump ring. It's kind of like a key ring. See how it has two? It's kind of like a key ring. So this one versus the one that you pinch together that has a little split right here that you use a pair of pliers to pull apart or close. I prefer this one. It seems to hold a lot better, and you'll see why. You'll also need a small piece of straw. This is something I just cut. You'll see why. I'll use this in a minute because there's two specific knots you're going to have to learn in order to do this. You'll need a lighter. That's simply for cutting and melting the tips of your 550 cord, as well as when you tie your the Celtic knot, which is the second knot. When you tie your Celtic knot, you're also going to need it for that. Pair of scissors for obvious reasons. You're going to need 6 of these are the larger beads that I use. These are for this specific rosary that I'm building, which I call the Desert Monk. These are copper, and they're a little bit larger than the Hail Mary beads. But ultimately, what you'll need is these are for the mysteries as well as the Our Father, your first Our Father. So there's 6 of those, and then obviously 53 of your Hail Mary beads. These are obviously for 10 for each of the decades and the 3 for the intro to the actual rosary. So that's all you're going to need. I didn't need that bowl. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let's go ahead and separate everything. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is get your 550 cord laid out. So as you can see, I already have both ends melted, which is going to be beneficial. This looks like the better one. It's got a better tip. So I'll start with this side that's not as good and that's going to be my first knot. So the first knot that you have to learn is it's called the barrel knot. So I want to get about a foot, 12 inches. Doesn't have to be perfect, but about 12 inches. You're going to take your straw. They make a tool for this, but this is cheap and it's easy to do. And the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to go an X, but the first one's going to be going towards the right. You make your X. If you notice, this 550 cord has a little bit of it's kind of flat on, it wants to lay flat in one direction. If I twist it, see how it kind of twists like that? You can see the flat edge. So you make your X, trying to make it flat. You don't want it so tight that it bends the straw, but you want it kind of snug. So you make your X, and then what I've come to prefer is just 1 wrap and 2 wraps. You can go 1 wrap, you can go 2 wraps, you can go 3 wraps. This seems to be just right for me because when you're all said and done, I'm going to show you what you're actually building here. This is what I call, like I said, the Desert Monk. What you're doing is you're building this knot right here. And as you can see, especially when you get to like your mystery beads, anything more just seems like just a little bit too much. Anything less for me just seems a little bit too little. For me, just the 2 wraps seem is a good balance. But this is ultimately what we're building here. This is what like I said, what I call the Desert Monk. I do another version, the very first one I did, where it has black 550 cord with the black beads and the copper, and I call that one the St. Dominic. But this is what we're building. You can see it's a decent sized crucifix for this one. Some might like it a little heavier, a little fatter. I have a couple of different options. We have like the St. Benedict cross for that. But this is super durable, super strong. It goes in and out of my pocket. I do my rosary 3 times a day. So in and out of my pocket multiple times a day. It's absolutely beautiful. This is one of my favorite ones. So back to doing our knot. Like I said, about a foot, 12 inches or so. Take your straw, make your X. And you're going to be doing a lot of these, so get used to it. X, 1 and 2. After you've got your second one, take the end. You're going to fish it through. 1, 2, fish it through. Not get wrapped up here on everything. You're going to pull it through. When you get about to here, so I fished it all the way through, I'm going to let it pull the straw with it, and then just move the straw out the way. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. You're going to turn the knot. Notice how I'm holding the string with these two fingers, and you're going to turn the knot away from you while pulling with these two fingers. Not too fast and not too tight, because you'll mess the knot up. You want to get it, just dress it so it's nice and even. Looks like a barrel. Nice and even. And then here, get a little some more snug. You can actually pull it down this way. Pull it snug. This is your very first knot. Now what you've done, what we've done so far is, this is the side we're going to start building the rosary on. It's the long side. The short side, where we just had a foot, this is what we're going to use at the very end when we do the intro to the rosary. So go ahead and pull your straw all the way off. Like that. And so if you remember, what we're building here, that's the Celtic knot, by the way. You'll be building that. This is the knot we just did. This knot right here. And then this is where the whole 1 foot of the string went. But this is the knot we just did. So the next thing we have to do is we have to do our 10 Hail Mary beads. Then we'll do another barrel knot. Then we'll do our mystery bead, another barrel knot, and then so on for the rest of the decades. So the next thing we're doing is our 10 Hail Mary beads. And it's good also to have these already separated into piles of 10, so you don't have to count while you're doing it. 1, 7, oops, 8, 9, 10. And what I like to do, even when I have them already separated, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I know that's good. Now what you'll notice is this 5/50 cord is super strong, but it does have a little bit of flex in it. Now, depending on your preference, you're going to want some room between these beads, because when you count them and you do them, usually you have your eyes closed because you're meditating on the mysteries. So you're going to want these to have a little bit of play. But what I've learned is if you try to incorporate that gap in the very beginning, it ends up being way looser than you want it. So what I do, I usually pull them nice and snug to my back knot, put my straw on top. I make my X right at the, see how that has that flat part, how it kind of twists? I make my X right at the end of the bead. And then when I do my wraps, 1, 2, it's actually going on to that bead, but that's okay. You'll see why. So find your end. Feed it through like that. Now watch this. When you start to pull it, you want to be careful because it'll catch those beads. Go ahead and pull that through. Feed that back over that bead like that. And then as I'm slowly pulling this, I'm also pulling twisting it away, but I'm also pulling it towards the beads because I want it to be snug. Twist away, pull it tight, twist away, pull it tight, twist away, pull it tight, twist away, pull it nice and snug. And then you grab this end of it and watch this. See what I mean? That's super tight. That one's super tight. But now I have room to count my beads with my eyes closed. A little bit of play. All right, so we have the first part of the decade. Pull our straw off. Oh, fix my camera. Sorry. Put our first mystery bead on. And then we do the same thing. Another barrel knot. X, 1 and 2. Like that. Feed it through. 1, 2, feed it through. That. And this one, I actually really prefer this to be really tight. I don't want a lot of play in this one. And this is one that I struggle with as far as trying to get all that play out of it. But I really try to eliminate as much play as I can in this bead. It just, for me, it's a 100% a preference thing, but I like this one to be snug. Pull that against it like that. See, I'm pulling really hard too, so you see how strong this stuff is. Pull that snug. See, it's like a little bit of a gap, but that's okay. It still looks absolutely beautiful. So there's your first decade with your first, or technically your second mystery, because your first mystery bead's over here. Your second mystery bead. And so all we're going to do is we're going to continue until we run out of these and run out of these. Total of 5 decades. Cool. Let's keep going. One, 2, feed it through. Dress that up nice. And you'll figure out what you like as far as spacing. You'll figure out what's comfortable for you, what you enjoy, what feels good in your hands when you're actually praying it. So where we're actually at now is we have, as you can see, 2, 4, and your 5th one. And it's pretty balanced. As you can see, our beads are lining up pretty good. Our knots are lining up pretty good. Sometimes when you do this, you'll be off a little bit, and that just annoys me, but I don't know. That's pretty good. So we're done with that part of the rosary. Now you'll notice you have a short end, which is what you started with, and then the last part, which is the long end, which is much longer. What I like to do, and this is now where we're actually going to tie the Celtic knot. So what I like to do is I like to take the knots and put them on my knuckles, like inside my fingers like that, so that I get this as even as possible. And typically, let's flip this, I like my short end close to my thumb. I have the shorter end close to my thumb. What I'm going to do is like that. Now, this short end's going to hang. It's going to hang down. This one, you're going to go 1 twist. See how it's like a quick twist, and then one more so that you have it looking like that, like that. And it's just going to sit right on top of your short string. You take your short string, it's going to go under. Get that right. I want you to notice this. See how that short string goes through your loop that you made? You want to keep that there because that's going to help you keep your middle. So it's going to come, without moving that out the way, it's got to come under. You take your end. You can dress that back up. So it came under the long one, and it's going to go over. And see how you have that little piece in the middle? It's got to go under there. So over this one, under this one, over this one. So over, under, over. Don't pull it too tight, but you want to pull it to where it's going to look like this. You see you got a middle right here. That's the middle, okay? Now I'm going to take this again, the short one again. I'm going to go under again. I'm going to go around. See how I have this one come through this finger? Make sure I go around that, and it's going to come right up through the middle. Like that. Then I take my long end. Notice I keep my middle to where you can see the middle. Take my long end. And it's going to go under everything. It's going to go around that one. And then up through the middle. And pull the slack out of that. And then you'll take your knot. Now, as you pull, and it takes a little bit to dress it up. Pull all the slack out. What you don't want to do is you don't want to tighten it yet. See this is, it's just that my my 554 has got some kinks in it. I'll be able to pull that out. I should have pulled those out already. But as I'm pulling this and dressing this, now before I pull this all the way snug and dress it all the way up, see how long these are? I don't like them that long. What I like them, and honestly, I even like them to be a little bit shorter than that. And that's what your knot's going to look like. So what you have to do is you just play with it. I got to pull this. I like to pull it all the way up against there, follow it, because it's going to pull the slack out the bottom. Follow that. Follow that. Oops. And pull your slack out the bottom. I got that one pretty good. Now let's get this one a little bit closer than that. So you're going to pull. So I'm pulling the slack. I flip it. Pull that slack. Flip it. Pull that slack. Flip it. Pull that slack. And pull the slack. It's getting better. I still want that one to be a little tighter. So I gotta pull that slack. So I can find it. Pull that slack. Pull that slack. Pull that slack. Pull that slack. And pull it. I'm getting a lot closer. I still don't like. That's not too terrible. That's not actually. That's looking pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of start if you start pinching that and pulling on this end, and start just massaging that, that'll pull it snug. See, I got that one. Try to keep those nice and even. And so I'm pulling with my hands right here, with my fingers, and I'm massaging that to get it nice and snug while I pull, just so that everything stays nice and even, like that. You pull hard. It's a good knot, and that's pretty even. Not bad, not terrible. So this is where I've made this mistake, because you got to cut one of these now. You still have a long one, and you still have a short one, as you can see. Short one, long one. Don't cut your long one. So find your short one, like that. Now here's something I'm going to do. Cut it close to your knot without cutting your knot. Get rid of that. Take your lighter. Smell that. Push it in there. If it's too dry, pull that straight down, like that. Like that. We are almost there. So we still have to do our first mystery bead. Because what we're building now is this part, all of that. Crucifix with the Our Father bead, the 3 Hail Mary beads for faith, hope, and charity, and then we have the first mystery bead. And there's our Celtic knot. So that's the part we're building right now. Cool. Put that on there. Drop my straw, hang on. Okay, so we have the first mystery bead. Take your straw, same thing we've been doing with these barrel knots. One, two, pull it through. Again, want this nice and snug. Massage it, twist it away from you. There we go. Now we have the first 3 opening Hail Marys, which are for an increase in faith, hope, and charity. There's your charity or love. There's your hope. And there's your faith. That's snug. Get our straw. We got another barrel knot. X. One, two. You'll notice your 550 cord likes to kind of twist up a little bit. That's why you get those when we did our Celtic knot. That's why it kind of got it bunched up right there, because it had some twists in it. So you get a massage, take your time with it. That. All right. And we just have one more. That's in the wrong one. Now, this is where it changes up a little bit, because we got to be able to put our crucifix on there. So what we're going to do, we'll start off with our barrel knot like normal. like our X. Then 1, 2, 1, 2. Then feed it through. Now where this is going to change up now, we'll pull the slack out of that first. Not all the way out though. You don't want to pull it too far. You want to leave a little bit more slack on this. And because what we're going to end up doing is we're going to go put our jump ring on this end, and then we're going to end up going back in through here. So what you want is you want to keep that slack on this side, because when you go to back the straw back out, you need some slack so this thing can move. You'll see. One thing I've learned is just put the jump ring on. Don't put the crucifix on yet. Do the crucifix at the very end. Because when you go pulling on this to get it snug, you'll want to grab the crucifix and pull on that. Problem with that is you'll break it. Yeah. So feed that back in there like that, and then pull that through like that. Pull that off. Pull that off. Now what I like to do is take my scissors without cutting my string. Just cut the straw, because we're done with the straw. So now that I have that through, what I'm going to do is I want to start dressing this knot first before I pull that too far through. I can pull some of that slack out. So that's about like that. Start dressing this knot like you normally would. Like that. Pull that through. Start dressing that knot like you normally would. You don't want to get it too tight though, because once you start dressing it and you get it too tight, you won't be able to pull this tight. So get it kind of snug, and then pull your slack here. And it's up to you how much space you want to leave here. Too little, too much, it's really just, it just is 100% up to you. But what you're going to do is just kind of play with it till you get it to where you like it. Just kind of go back and forth with pulling tight and pulling slack. Pulling tight and twisting on the bottom part right here, because that's the part that's making it the knot tight. And then pulling your slack through. Tight. About like that. There. Now we have that. Before that, we need to get rid of this piece right here. So we're going to do just like we did with the Celtic knot. We're going to take that. Snip it. Take your lighter. Mount it. Yeah. And the very last thing that you have to do, if we take a look at this first, that's where our crucifix is going to go. Get your first Our Father, faith, hope, and charity, first mystery, and you work your way down. Boom. It's absolutely beautiful. This is the fun part, especially with those got kind of fat fingers and are kind of clunky, just in general. That. Boom. Ain't that beautiful? Look at that. Don't mind my hand. It's just the stigmata. Just kidding. There's our crucifix. Oh my goodness, isn't this beautiful? And they're fun to make. They're super durable. They feel good in your hands. They're heavier. This is a man's rosary. This is what I call the desert monk. Now it's your turn. Go build your own.